You're a disgrace. Don't embarrass us. My wife hissed as she fixed my collar with more violence than care. Those were her words. Not "you look handsome," not "thanks for coming." No, just venom. And all because I forgot to trim my damn beard before her father's retirement party. Her name's Vanessa, and I once thought she was the most beautiful thing that ever walked into a room. Now, she was more like a beautiful chandelier hanging by a single rusted chain. Shiny on the outside, dangerous as hell underneath. We were parked outside the event hall, my tie tight like a noose, the AC blasting to cool her temper. She looked stunning, of course, crimson lipstick, black silk dress with a slit that would make a priest sweat. But it wasn't for me. I knew that now. I just didn't know how deep the betrayal went yet. We walked in together, her hand on my arm like a trophy wife doing her public duty. The room was all golden light and polite jazz. Real high society vibes, executives, investors, old money types. People who wore smiles like armor. I hated it already. That's when it happened. We just reached the long table where her father, Douglas Monroe, was laughing with his golf buddies. I nodded respectfully, tried to blend in, tried not to mess up. And then I saw him. Tall, silver hair, the kind of tan that only comes from managing a company from yachts and golf courses. He walked straight toward me, past Vanessa, past everyone, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Good to see you, sir." Silence. I'm talking pin drop, coffin lid silence. Every fork stopped midair. A wine glass shattered. Vanessa's smile died so fast I swear I saw rigor mortis set in. Her mother blinked like she forgot how. Even Douglas froze. And then I noticed it. Vanessa's fingers, gripping my wrist like a clamp, went ice cold. She laughed. Too loud, too fast, like a malfunctioning machine. "Ha ha! You must be confusing him with someone else, Mr. Caldwell. My husband isn't anyone important," she said through clenched teeth, nudging me like I was a stray dog begging at the dinner table. But Caldwell didn't blink. He just looked at her, then back at me and said again, slower this time, as if correcting her, "No, I know exactly who he is." Boom. Every polite mask in that room cracked. That was the moment I realized something was very, very wrong. I played it cool for the moment, smiled like I didn't just get gut-punched with confusion. We made it through the rest of the night with fake laughter and whispered venom from Vanessa, her nails digging into my arm as she whispered, "What the hell was that?" between clinks of champagne glasses. But in that instant, I felt it, the shift, like a crack in drywall just before the whole wall collapses. I didn't know yet who Caldwell was to her. I didn't know yet about the private jet photos on her old phone or the receipts she kept in her makeup drawer. But I knew my wife was hiding something, and it wasn't small. I just hadn't seen the full ugliness of the truth. Yet, that night, after we got home, she locked herself in the bathroom for over an hour. She said she was removing her makeup. I didn't buy it, not after how she acted. I went to the garage and sat in my truck, engine off, silence buzzing in my ears. My phone buzzed once. It was a text from Caldwell's assistant. I would learn later, wrong number, supposedly. Tell her to stop calling. He's not leaving his wife. I stared at it, and everything inside me began to burn. I didn't sleep that night. Not because of the text, though it replayed in my mind like a broken record, but because of the way Vanessa slid into bed beside me after locking herself in the bathroom, acting like nothing had happened. She didn't say goodnight, didn't look at me, just curled up, back turned, perfume still thick from the party, except now it smelled different, like lies. By 4 a.m., I was still lying there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling fan spinning like the thoughts in my head. I thought about Caldwell's face, his tone, his message. I know exactly who he is. Why would he say that? Why to me? Why not to her dad? Or to Vanessa? It didn't make sense, unless I was missing a very big piece of the puzzle. I got up quietly, walked to the living room, and sat on the couch in the dark. I opened the text again. Reread it for the 10th time. Tell her to stop calling. He's not leaving his wife. No name, no emojis, just cold, brutal truth. I don't know what came over me, but something in my gut told me, check her phone. I know. Privacy, trust, marriage. But trust? That word had already started crumbling. So I walked back to the bedroom, grabbed her phone off the nightstand, and tiptoed to the hallway like a damn thief in my own house. She had Face ID, of course, but she'd fallen asleep with her mouth open and the dim hallway light spilling onto her face. I leaned over just enough to trigger the unlock. It opened on a selfie, not a regular one. One of her in bed, not our bed. A hotel bed, fluffed pillows, champagne glass in the corner. Her lips were parted, red lipstick smudged, eyes half-lidded like she just had fun. It was sent last Tuesday. She told me she was at her friend Tina's bridal shower that night. I scrolled. There was a message thread titled, Snake Bossman. I clicked it. I swear my heart stopped. Vanessa, tonight was unreal. I can still feel you. Snake Bossman. I told you not to leave that mark. Now he's going to ask questions. There were dozens like it. Weeks, months. I read things no husband should ever have to read. Pictures. Voice notes. One video I couldn't even bring myself to play. The way she talked to him, it was like I didn't exist. Or worse, like I was the joke. The background character in her real life. My hands were shaking. I wanted to wake her up and scream. Throw the phone. Break every glass in the house. But instead, I sat back down in the hallway, phone on my lap, my whole body cold. I stared at the wall. I must have looked insane. I didn't cry. I didn't punch anything. I just unraveled. Quietly. I thought about every time she told me I wasn't ambitious enough. Every time she said I embarrassed her in front of her colleagues. Every time I caught her staring at her phone and smiling when she thought I wasn't looking. All those moments I brushed off with excuses. Because that's what love does, right? It lies to protect itself. But there it was now. Naked. Rotting. The next morning, she got up before me and started humming while brushing her teeth. Humming. Like she wasn't living two lives. Like she didn't just destroy ours. I didn't say a word. Not yet. I had a plan now. Let her keep humming. Let her smile. Let her think I'm still asleep. Because when I confront her, I want to see the look on her face when she realizes the game is over. She was wearing that stupid beige cardigan. The one she always wore when she wanted to appear soft, domestic. The good wife. She brewed coffee, opened the blinds, scrolled through her phone like nothing had happened. Like her entire life wasn't a fraud. I sat there at the kitchen island, watching her with a silence that felt heavier than any words I could say. She finally looked up. What? She asked, brows slightly furrowed. I sipped my coffee. We need to talk. She froze for half a breath, just enough for me to catch it. The tiniest glitch in her perfect performance. Then she smiled, all syrup and sunshine. Okay, babe, talk. I pulled out her phone from my pocket. Her face went pale. I looked through this, I said calmly, placing it between us. There was a beat of silence, like the world sucked in all its air at once. Excuse me? She said, laughing nervously. That's my personal. Who's Bossman? I interrupted. Her smile cracked. What? You heard me. Bossman. The one who told you not to leave marks. The one who gets photos of you in hotel beds while I'm at work trying to keep this damn house paid for. She blinked, tilted her head like I was speaking a foreign language. Are you seriously accusing me of something based on a nickname? No. I'm accusing you based on the photos, the texts, the voice notes, the video you didn't even bother to delete. Silence. Then, just like that, the mask fell off. Oh my God, she snapped, slamming her mug on the counter. You went through my phone like some insecure psycho? No, I said, voice low. I went through your phone like a husband who knew something was wrong. And guess what? I was right. She scoffed. You're pathetic. The words hit like a slap. But I didn't flinch. Not this time. And he's married? I asked. Caldwell. Your dad's business partner? That's who you've been sneaking around with? That's the one sending drivers to pick you up after you run errands? That's the man who told you he's not leaving his wife. Her jaw tightened. She said nothing. I've got a copy of everything, I added. Just so you know. Don't even think about gaslighting your way out of this. She rolled her goddamn eyes. You want a medal or something? She said. Fine. You caught me. Congratulations. What now? You gonna cry? Throw something? Boo-hoo. Poor little husband. There it was. No apology. No regret. Just venom. How long? I asked. Does it matter? How long? She smirked. 7 months. Maybe 8. Lost count. My vision blurred. I gripped the counter to keep from shaking. 7 months. Of lies. Of pretending. Of looking me in the eyes while slipping out the door to go be his. And you felt nothing? I asked. Not even guilt? She laughed. A cold, dismissive thing that echoed in the kitchen. You want honesty? She said, crossing her arms. You bored me. You're predictable. You don't challenge me. You still wear the same dumb cologne you did in college. He makes me feel alive. You? Your background noise. I stood up. Every bone in my body screamed to yell, to shatter something. But I didn't. I just looked her dead in the eyes and said, then enjoy the silence. Because after today, that's all you're getting from me. I walked out the front door, didn't even grab a coat. The air outside was cold. But not as cold as the woman I left behind. I didn't go far. Just drove. Miles. No direction. No destination. Just a man with a throbbing chest and a jaw locked so tight I thought it might snap. My phone buzzed once. Vanessa. Then again. Then again. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I already knew what the messages would say. Come back. Let's talk like adults. You overreacted. Or my personal favorite. You had your flaws too. Don't pretend you're perfect. I parked outside a 24-hour diner and sat there, engine running, hands still shaking on the steering wheel. I stared at my reflection in the rearview mirror. Red eyes, cracked lips, a man I barely recognized. 7 months, maybe 8. She said she lost count. I could count every time she told me she was staying late at work. Every girl's night. Every unexplained receipt. Every cold shoulder when I tried to touch her. All those nights I thought she was tired, or stressed, or just not in the mood. She wasn't tired. She was busy. I walked into the diner and slid into a booth at the back. The waitress, a woman probably in her 60s with a smoker's voice and a kind smile, asked if I wanted coffee. I nodded. She brought it, hot and bitter. You look like you need something stronger, she said. I gave her a half smile. Yeah, like a new life. She chuckled. Well, sugar, that one ain't on the menu. But the pie's good. I don't know why that moment hit me, but it did. I laughed. Actually laughed. Like all the misery cracked open and leaked out as some twisted kind of relief. Because you know what? The worst part wasn't the betrayal. It was the fake love. The nights she'd climb into bed and kiss my cheek after a long day. The way she called me honey in front of friends while probably texting him under the table. The staged smiles in photos. The I love you that now sounded like scripted lines. None of it was real. I took out my phone. I didn't reply to her messages. Instead, I texted my buddy Logan. My best man at the wedding, a guy who always had my back, even when I didn't deserve it. Me? You home? Logan? Yeah. Everything okay? Me? No. But I'm on my way. 20 minutes later, I was on his couch, wrapped in a blanket like some broken survivor. He didn't push. He just handed me a beer and said, start whenever you're ready. So I told him everything. From Caldwell's good to see you, sir, to the hotel photos, to her smirk when she said I was background noise. He sat there, jaw clenched. Jesus, man. She always gave me bad vibes. But this? Yeah. What now? I looked at him, hollow. I don't know. Divorce? I think so. I mean, how do you come back from that? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. The silence was answer enough. That night I slept on Logan's couch. My dreams were filled with fragments. Vanessa's voice, Caldwell's smug smile, my wedding day on loop like a curse. But I woke up with something I hadn't felt in days. Clarity. The damage was done. The illusion shattered. The woman I married was gone, if she ever existed at all. Now it was just me, and the slow, bitter climb toward whatever comes after betrayal. The morning after, Logan made eggs. He didn't ask how I slept, didn't throw in the usual "you'll be okay" nonsense. Just slid the plate toward me and said, "Eat, then call a lawyer." I nodded. I didn't need pep talks. I needed a plan. As the yolk ran down the plate, I felt something shift inside me, like the grief had started to calcify into something harder. Anger, sure. But more than that, control. The kind you gain when you finally accept. It's over. She's not who you thought. And now it's time to clean house. I drove home at noon, engine quiet, pulse roaring. I expected her to be gone. But no. Vanessa was still there, legs crossed on the couch, scrolling Instagram like a high schooler. A suitcase stood by the door, unzipped, half-packed with designer clothes and resentment. "You left your ring," I said, tossing it onto the table. It clinked against the wood like a gunshot. She looked up, mascara fresh, lips painted blood red. "So dramatic," she muttered. "Don't flatter yourself," I said. "I'm not here to beg." "Oh," she raised a brow. "You here to cry again?" I ignored the bait, walked past her, opened the drawer where we kept important documents. Marriage license, property papers, joint accounts. I began separating them like a surgeon dissecting a tumor. "What are you doing?" she asked, annoyed now. "Taking back my life," I said. "And my name. And my bank account." "You can't just kick me out," she snapped. "Why not? You already checked out months ago. You don't get to play wife now." Her face twisted into that smug little smirk, the one she used when she knew she'd stepped on your throat and wanted you to thank her for it. "You think this makes you strong?" she said. "You're still the same boring, predictable man. Caldwell, he made me feel. He made me forget I was even married." I stared at her for a second too long. Then I laughed. "You know what's funny?" I said. "Caldwell knows who I am. He saw me and called me sir. You tried to humiliate me in front of everyone. And he, your lover, accidentally exposed you." The color drained from her face. "And your dad? He knows too. You think that room went silent because of me? No, it was because they knew. Everyone but me." She stood, shoulders squared, voice low. "You tell him, and I swear I'll burn everything down." "I don't need to tell him," I said. "I just need to give him your phone, or that email chain you forgot to delete from our shared laptop." Now she looked rattled. "Good. I'm filing tomorrow," I said. "No contest. No alimony. You walk with your heels and your guilt. That's it. You can't do this." I leaned in, inches from her face. "Watch me." She stormed off to the bedroom, slamming the door like a teenager. I didn't care. The fear was finally in her eyes now. I sat on the couch, phone in hand, and started documenting everything. Messages, dates, photos, bank charges. I forwarded everything to my new private email, made backups, folders. One titled Freedom. I was done playing the victim, done being the clueless husband. This wasn't just survival anymore. It was warfare with dignity. And I was going to win. 2 days later, I wore a suit. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. The same one I wore at our wedding, only now it fit differently. Looser, like it had shed something poisonous along with me. The meeting was scheduled for 11 a.m. sharp, in a quiet corner office downtown. Floor-to-ceiling windows, espresso machine in the corner, no nonsense in the air. Across from me sat Clara Becker, my divorce attorney. Early 40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. She glanced over the printouts I brought. Screenshots, call logs, emails, even a recorded voicemail Vanessa accidentally left while whispering, "I miss your mouth," to her so-called bossman. "You did your homework," Clara said, nodding in approval. "I didn't just live with a cheater," I replied. "I lived with a strategic liar." She leaned forward. "With what you've got here, no judge is going to side with her on any claim. No spousal support. You keep the house, the car, even the dog, if you want him. I did want him. Our golden retriever, Rusty, was the only soul in that house who didn't lie to my face. Next steps, I asked. She handed me the paperwork. We file today. She'll be served within 48 hours. You don't have to be there, but I suggest you are. Sometimes the look on their face is therapeutic. I smiled for the first time that week. A real smile. Before I left, Clara gave me one more piece of advice. Don't retaliate. Just detach. Let her fall into the mess she made, all on her own. I thanked her and walked out lighter. But there was still one meeting I hadn't planned. That fate handed me on a silver plate. That night, I went to Doug Monroe's house, Vanessa's father. He'd invited me over for a beer before the party. Back when things still looked intact. I figured I owed him the truth, or at least my version of it. He opened the door in a robe and slippers. "Son," he said, confused. "Vanessa's not here." "I know," I said. "This isn't about her." We sat on his back porch, the autumn wind rustling the trees. I handed him the folder. No words, just the cold, undeniable truth printed on glossy photo paper. At first, he didn't speak, just flipped through, eyes narrowing, mouth tight. When he finally did, his voice was low. "So that's why Caldwell's wife canceled their trip to Spain last month." I raised an eyebrow. "You knew." "I suspected." He sighed. "Vanessa's always been drawn to power. Even as a kid, she'd lie just to make herself look more important. Then why let her walk all over people?" He turned and looked me straight in the eyes. "Because I thought you could handle her." That hit harder than I expected. Like being assigned a bomb and blamed when it finally exploded. "She embarrassed you," I said. "She embarrassed herself," he corrected. "And she'll learn the hard way." He finished his drink in silence. Then, "You're better off without her, son." It was weird, comforting, hearing that from the father of the woman who wrecked me. But in that moment, I felt something shift again. I wasn't just escaping a marriage. I was escaping her orbit. The next morning, Vanessa was served the papers. She screamed. She cursed. She called me spineless, heartless, everything in between. But I just watched. Calm. Empty. Done. "Good luck with Caldwell," I said before closing the door in her face. Because the thing about women like Vanessa, they don't fall. They plunge. And I wouldn't be there to catch her this time. You could always tell when Vanessa was losing, because she got louder. After I served the papers, she went full chaos mode. She tried calling my mom, told her I'd lost my mind, that I was throwing away a perfectly good marriage over a misunderstanding. She even had the audacity to tell Logan I was depressed and needed intervention. He sent me the screenshots. Her words were poisonous. But what she didn't realize was, no one was buying the act anymore. She had overplayed her hand. And then, it got worse. 2 weeks after filing, I got an email. Not from her. Not from Caldwell. From his wife, Elaine Caldwell. Subject line: "I think we should talk." We met at a cafe halfway between both our houses. She arrived in all black, like she was attending the funeral of her marriage. Her fingers were shaking as she stirred her tea. "You're Michael, right?" she said. I nodded. "You and we've been the ghosts in their affair, watching from the sidelines while they stole moments in hotel rooms and back offices." She gave a sad smile. "I read everything, every message. The last straw was the spa receipt. He never goes to spas." I swallowed hard. "I didn't know what to say to you. I didn't even know if you knew." "Oh, I knew," she whispered. "But I didn't want to know. Not until I saw it spelled out." His voice in her voicemails. Her lipstick on his white dress shirt. She reached into her purse and pulled out a tiny velvet box. "Found this in his briefcase last week," she said, pushing it toward me. Inside was a diamond necklace. A note tucked under it. "For your patience. Soon we won't have to hide." I didn't even have words. Elaine closed the box. "I filed for divorce yesterday. Sent the photo to his office. Told his assistant. He's done." There was silence. We were just two strangers, stitched together by betrayal, breathing the same rotten air. You know what I regret the most? I finally said. Not the marriage. Not even the lies. I regret every time I silenced my gut. Every time something felt wrong and I told myself I was imagining it. Elaine nodded slowly. They wanted people who wouldn't question them. And now, they've got no one left. We parted with a hug. Two survivors walking away from the same car crash, finally realizing we hadn't caused it. That night, Vanessa texted me. I hope you're happy. Caldwell's a coward. He cut me off. His wife found out. Now I have nothing. You ruined me. No apology. No remorse. Just more blame. I didn't reply. She sent another message. Are you seriously just going to pretend like I never existed? We shared a life, Michael. You can't just delete me. But that's the thing. She had already deleted herself long before I ever did. The next morning, I changed my number, blocked her on everything, transferred the house deed to my name, froze the joint accounts, not out of spite, but out of survival. You don't leave a fire burning in the living room and sleep peacefully upstairs. I was rebuilding, quietly, carefully, and for the first time in months I felt peace. Let her scream. Let her burn. I wasn't her fuel anymore. 3 months. That's how long it took to finalize the divorce. To dissolve a marriage that had already rotted from the inside out. The house was mine. Rusty curled beside me on the couch every night. Still loyal, still trusting. My bank account, free from her surprise boutique charges and secret hotel stays. And my phone, blessedly silent. No more toxic texts. No more staged apologies. No more "you're just insecure" from a woman who spent 8 months sneaking off with a married man. Vanessa didn't go quietly. Oh no, she tried everything. After Caldwell cut her off, she started circling again. Like a predator who just realized the meat freezer was locked. She emailed me from fake accounts, tried reaching out to my coworkers, sent me a typed letter that read like a script from a daytime soap. I made mistakes, but so did you. I only wanted to feel wanted. I missed the version of us before the world got in the way. There was no version of us. Not anymore. That illusion was long gone. Washed away the night she told me I was background noise. You know what I did with that letter? I shredded it. Fed it into the machine one line at a time. Watching each lie get torn apart felt better than anything she ever gave me. But here's the thing no one tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just hurt. It rewires you. For weeks, I second-guessed everything. Every smile from a stranger. Every compliment. Every kind word from a female friend made me flinch. Like I was waiting for a trapdoor to open beneath me. Took therapy. Took silence. It took nights staring at the ceiling with Rusty's snore beside me like a heartbeat. But slowly, I came back. Not the same man. A better one. Not because I won some emotional war, but because I walked away from one. Logan stuck by me through it all. Even dragged me out to a beach cabin one weekend just to remind me how to laugh. We drank, grilled steaks, watched the tide come in. For the first time in months, I didn't think about her. Not once. Doug, Vanessa's dad, called me last week. I was surprised. I'm sorry, he said, quiet and honest. I should have warned you. I saw it happening. I just hoped I was wrong. You weren't, I said. I miss you, he added. You were more of a son to me than I ever admitted, and more of a man than she ever deserved. I didn't cry, but I felt something in my chest uncoil. Forgiveness? Maybe not. But closure? Yeah. And then there was Elaine, Caldwell's ex-wife. We emailed now and then. Nothing romantic. Just shared updates like war veterans comparing healed scars. She said she was moving to Colorado, bought a house near the mountains, started painting again. You saved me, she wrote once, without meaning to, just by not pretending. I printed that email and pinned it to my fridge, not because I needed a reminder of her, but because I needed a reminder of me, of who I became after the collapse. Because here's what I learned. You can survive anything, infidelity, lies, even the hollow echo of a love that never really was. What matters is what you build next. So, to any man reading this who's living through what I lived through, trust your gut. Love yourself louder than she ever did. And when the mask falls, don't try to tape it back together. Let it shatter. You'll breathe better in the ruins than you ever did in the palace of lies.